Welcome in to Run the Damn Podcast. I'm Rob Snyder alongside Craig Kolodny.
It's been a minute, Rob.
I
It's been
mean,
a few weeks.
oh my God. I can't believe, it's funny. We didn't pod last week, and I was
Nope.
like, because the problem is, as great as the rumors were, if we potted, we know that pod wouldn't live very long because
No.
something was bound to happen after we did. And it didn't, it did. Something happened.
Yep.
And of course, in
Something
true
big.
Run the Damn Podcast form.
Don't forget the damn.
I honestly kept thinking about how I'm going to do this podcast without cursing tonight, and we'll see. I might have to mark this one explicit by the end of it. In true Run the Damn Podcast form, another massive Boston Philly thing happens in the first year that we're doing this pod.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, out of freaking nowhere, we knew he was going to get traded to the Sixers.
Right.
For Paul George, 2 firsts and 2 seconds. And as someone who's a Sixers fan that's very excited to have Jaylen Brown in Philadelphia,
Yep.
we are days. This happened on Wednesday. It is now Sunday. And I am still only livid about the Celtics end of this deal that I am even processing the fact that he's a Sixer. Part of me keeps thinking like, oh man, it's great to have him and Maxey and Edgecombe, and you can survive the non-Embiid games, but like most of me is like, what the hell are the Celtics doing, and why is there such a massive push to justify this garbage that happened on Wednesday? I need your initial. For the record, for anybody listening, this is the first time I've talked to Craig in over a week, so I have zero clue what he's about to say to me. Give me your reaction, Craig Kolodny.
Well, first off, this is going to be our only topic of this episode, so we're going to be discussing this for an hour. First, the other thing is, it's crazy that me and you have done a podcast now, like you said, for 8 months, 9 months, whatever it's been. Within the last 6 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it's been, Boston and Philly have made our two cities have made trades, whether it's the Patriots in Eagles and now the Sixers and Celtics. So
for two 29-year-old Browns.
Right, which is great because it leads to us having great, impactful content here because we're both into it.
One of those trades might have been a win-win. This to me is a clear win-loss, but I would like to know.
So you asked me, my takeaway here is, I was on vacation when I found out I had some drinks. I found out that he was traded, and my first reaction was, I can't tell my son because this is going to ruin his vacation. So I held off on that. I told him today, and he was upset. Second, I just don't understand how we went from trading potentially for Giannis 3 days earlier to now we're trading for however old Paul George is with his bad knees and his
36,
because he happened to play well in 7 games against the Celtics. Now he's a prized possession. I just don't understand how the Celtics. I don't understand how Desmond Bane gets traded for like 4 first-round picks. Mikal Bridges gets traded for 5 first-round picks, and Jaylen Brown barely gets you a couple and a washed-up player.
Well, they're all better than Jaylen Brown, Craig. I don't know if you heard. They're all better. Those guys are better players.
They're all better. Yep. Desmond Bane, definitely better than Jaylen Brown. Mikal Bridges, definitely better than Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
Jaylen Brown, who finished 6th in the MVP voting. I just don't. I don't understand how someone's value. So is it? Pick your topic here. Is it his quote unquote going off script? Is it his quote unquote he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room? Is it that he didn't want to play second fiddle to somebody else? Which, by the way, he's going to be second fiddle or third fiddle in Philly. Like it. And then how is there no offers better than what they got? Or I don't know. There's so many questions, not enough answers. And I know they're going to talk tomorrow, and they're going to just sugarcoat this, and nothing's going to be relevant tomorrow. It's going to be a couple comments that people cling on to. But overall, this is just a massive swing and a miss, if you ask me.
It's 100%. What a joke! What a complete joke! And if someone would have come out and just been like, we can't do the contract. It's just too much. We can't do the contract. Say it is money. Yep. Tell every insider it's money. Like we can't. When we signed him, we thought we could do it. Now we don't think we can do it. Like we need to improve the margins of the roster, and we can't do it to these two Supermax players. We thought we could, we can't. We had to move on. Fine. But to tell people it's not the money, and then this BS analytics cope that I have to deal with, it's a freaking joke. Just say it's the money. And like when you're looking through it, and by the way, Sam Amick and Jay King are both good reporters, reporting all the things that they've heard, reaching out to everybody they can. Mm-hmm. That's good reporting. It's good writing, and in no way, shape, or form do I have anything with issue with what they wrote, because they're writing the things that they did the right thing. They reached out to every possible avenue to try to figure out what happened here, and they wrote everything that they found out. So I'm not killing the messenger at all. Great reporting, great writing. The things that they found out, they might even disagree with. Right. But the Portland analytics, let's start here. Let's start with the analytics portion of it, because I can't freaking stand it. Yeah, they're like, we think he's a minus player. Yeah. Or we think his on-off, blah, 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 blah. It's all BS. First of all, Portland's front office doesn't know dick, because they haven't been relevant since Damian Lillard, Wesley Matthews, and LaMarcus Aldridge were in their prime, and it was 2012, and we were living together watching Portland games at 10 p.m. from the Rose Garden. Yes, that's the last time that team was relevant. So that front office can go shit themselves, because they haven't done anything right in the last decade. So that's first of all. Don't listen to Portland's analytics department. That team blows. Half the time I forget they even exist. So that's one. Two is on-off splits change depending on who you're playing with and what lineup you're playing against. And if you're using that as gospel, then you just watch the games. The Celtics won 56 games last year with some of the most regular season ass players I have ever seen in my life. Like the guys that Jaylen Brown played with against the lineups that they played against. And the fact that they won 56 games is a freaking miracle. So I'm just so
How do you finish?
So sick of it. The cope is ridiculous.
How do you finish sixth in the MVP voting and be considered a negative player? Like,
he's just suddenly not good. It's amazing. Right. He's suddenly not
all
good.
The people that voted for him to be sixth in MVP, and at one point, like middle of the season, they're like, "Oh, he could be like top 3 MVP," and it's like he played with Derek White, me, you, Peyton Pritchard. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Derek White sucked last year. He sucked. He had his worst year of his career. He couldn't shoot.
I know. It's Baylor Shireman. Again, these guys are like trending hard. They're trending in the right direction. But it was all led by Jaylen. And here's the other part of this, which is not really analytics, but I'm going to bring it to Tatum now, if you don't mind.
Sure.
All the people that are like, here comes Tatum MVP season incoming. Like, have you seen? Wait till you see him and Mitchell Robinson in the pick and roll, and wait till you see how he makes these guys. It's like, all the attention that necessarily some of it that might have been shared on. I think Baylor Shireman's going to get some open looks this year. I mean, people think that Tatum's just going to magically. I don't know. Anybody see Tatum not go to the rim last year after his Achilles? Is he just going to shoot threes all year? Is that I understand it's going to get better as he gets more removed from the injury, but it's like, I don't know. There's no guarantee. Like, no, I just anybody can cherry pick highlights and cherry pick stats and cherry pick anything they want. It's like nobody mentioned this stuff about Brown when he was. And again, if you want to tell me that it's an attitude thing and there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know, fine. I'm fine with that. Or again, if you want to tell me that, we really thought he was going to have a hard time acclimating as the number 2, and we didn't want to go down that road, and then potentially trade him for less assets. Like, fine. Like, if you believe in the picks you got, like, I'm not going to doubt that part of it. I'm just surprised how far we fell from what these trades might have been. Like, where was this story a few weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago? Like, the Celtics haven't played a game in 2.5 months.
I know. And what's funny is that like Portland has the audacity to be like, oh, well, Jaylen Brown's like not a top 50 player in our opinion, based on like, it's like, okay, you just traded for John Morant. So what are his on-off split? Why
Right.
haven't we gotten his on-off splits? Why
Right.
haven't we gotten his analytics? Like, your analytics department is so smart. Why don't you brag about the guy you just traded for?
How about his
You know what else?
on-off gameplay? How many games has he played?
How about the fact that he waves a gun around every time there's a camera around him? Like, what do analytics tell you anything about a guy personally? Like,
Right.
it's getting ridiculous here. And I thought, like, maybe they would be like, oh, Jaylen didn't want to be here. Jaylen wanted to be number one guy, or Jalen's contract was too much and we shouldn't have given him the supermax. The fact that the most justification we've gotten for this trade is that Jaylen Brown's not all that good is a freaking joke.
Right.
It's so ridiculous. And it's I think the fascinating thing, I'm just going to stay on the analytics for a second. The fascinating thing with this is this upcoming season, there's so much weight on what Jaylen Brown does. Not that there's pressure on him to win again, because, by the way, he's already won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He's already won NBA Finals MVP. So it's not like Jaylen Brown has to win somewhere else to justify his career.
No.
But my God, analytics versus non-analytics really comes down to this Jaylen Brown season with the Sixers. Like, all of a sudden, it is like a lot of teams are like, no, we don't want him because of this, that, and the other stat. And if he has a great season and the Sixers are great, you can take some of those analytics and shove them. And that's really, there's so much. And I'm not saying he feels that pressure, but when you look at it as a sports fan who might be for or against analytics, what Jaylen Brown does this season suddenly, like, really matters when it comes down to, like, oh, his on-off splits and blah, blah, like, things that, by the way, the Celtics are probably responsible for too. Like, Jaylen Brown's usage rate was like 34.6% last year. It was like top 5 in the league, higher than it's ever been. So, like, maybe some of his analytics being, like, inefficient, maybe that's a Missoula problem and not necessarily a Jaylen Brown problem because of the way he was used, because he has the ball all the time. Or maybe it's a Brad Stevens problem because they didn't really have a true point guard in the starting lineup last year. Derek White's not a true point guard. Peyton Pritchard came off the bench. Jaylen Brown had to handle the ball a freaking boatload last year. So there's a lot of reasons.
It's like having Wemby do it in the NBA Finals. And it's like,
there's a lot of reasons why someone might be inefficient in that type of season when he's, by the way, is the 6th best player in the league in the MVP voting. You could have sold me on a million different ways for this trade. To trade Jaylen Brown, and I would have been like, fine. But to trade him for the trash they got, along with the reasoning that we're getting, is a freaking boatload of BS.
Yeah. No, and I looked it up while you were going on your little rant there. John Morant has played 79 games in the last 3 seasons. He hasn't even hasn't played more than 50 games, and he's only played 66. He's only played more than 65 games once, and it was his rookie year.
And they have Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, and Shaedon Sharpe. So I'm sure it's going to work out great in Portland. It's a absolute genius front office they have over there.
So I agree with you. We'll just kind of wrap up the analytics part and then move on to wherever you want to go next with this. But like, the analytics part is, I agree. It's something where you watch these games. Like, here's my thing with analytics, and I'm a math guy. Like, I love numbers. I'm a stat geek. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna I don't care about, if you have stats that matter, I'll listen. When I've watched sports I'm 42. I probably started watching sports when I was 5 years old, 6 years old. So I've been watching sports 35 plus years, call it. I can't read these articles, and I read them and I'm like, I don't even know what that stat is. And I read and consume this stuff every day, every night, every weekend, whatever. It's just like, I don't understand some of these stats that I read, and obviously baseball did this too, but it's like, you need to be able to understand what you're reading to be able to have an opinion on it. And these things that you read, I'm just like, how am I supposed to feel about this when nobody knows what it is? It's like I'm in science class now, and someone's trying to explain to me how to do all these things that I don't give a shit about. It's just the analytics part. I don't know if it ruined baseball. Baseball was kind of ruining itself before that, I think. But I have concerns about what this is going to start to do to basketball. Because I'm with you in a sense that when you said that the Jaylen Brown success or failure of whatever happens this year with Philly, just obviously general success, not title, but like assume he plays well and they win 60 games.
Yeah.
Is he all of a sudden not a negative player? Like, do analytics go away? I mean, he's going to be the analytics poster child. Like, that's what's going to become. I agree with you 100% in that fact, because people are going to be, everyone's going to stare at his plus minus this year. That's all everyone's going to stare at.
And it's going to be interesting too, because he's now playing with like Tyrese Maxey's a true point guard.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, who's a high usage rate big.
Yeah.
And VJ Edgecombe was an up and coming guy that's gonna get his touches. Jaylen Brown's gonna get plenty of touches, but like he's gonna have a lot more off ball movement than he had. Like he may become like ultra efficient, and it's gonna have nothing to do with like him it's just gonna be the role.
Right.
So like you can't judge a guy based off of like, oh well, he had this crazy role. Like any player that's forced to have the ball in his hands all the time because his teammates can't do it is gonna have like inefficiencies in his game. And like to just watch last season, just with your eyes, just use your eyes and watch the games and see what happens in the games. To say that Jaylen Brown isn't all that good is ridiculous. So, it's completely ridiculous.
No, it is. I guess my reaction to the whole thing is just kind of blown away. Again, like we had talked about this potentially coming down the pike, and it was something that was, I mean, it's not surprising they got traded. It's just, it's also the fact that they traded him to Philly.
It's ridiculous for not a haul.
No, right. It's like if you not robbed Philly, but like when they did the Garnett Pierce trade with the Nets and got all those picks, and obviously turned into Brown and Tatum, and obviously a whole decade of success. It's just weird to me that you're doing it this way, in a sense that you couldn't find any other team. They clearly value the picks that they got. This deal was about getting the picks, not the player, obviously.
Yeah.
And anybody that thinks, look, Paul George was great in the playoffs, like against Celtics. He was great.
Yeah, against Celtics.
How many times did we text? I was like, Paul George is going to go 6 of 13, and he's going to score 16 points.
Every game.
He's going to have like 5 rebounds, and he's going to play 35 minutes, and that's going to be his stats. And you can look up his game log. He did it like every game. I just don't know what – I guess they value the picks in a sense that they just believe they're going to be able to flip them, because you're not looking to draft another, like, you're trying to maximize the next 4 to 5 years of Tatum.
Yeah, that 2031, especially the 2031 unprotected Sixers pick.
Yeah.
I've seen people be like, oh, that's when, Embiid is going to be gone, and like Jaylen Brown's going to be like 30 whatever, and Maxey's going to be. It's like, dude, Tatum's
going to be
going to be 33 years old. Like,
right.
you're it's useless if you don't trade it. So like there could be the problem is like if it was like VJ Edgecombe and 3 firsts, I would have been like fair trade, and also as a Sixers fan, I'm like, oh no. Like that, but Paul George is making $58 million or $56 million average the next 2 years. He's not opting out at age 37. He's going to opt in next year. He's not making more than that. He has like a total albatross of a contract. Some people consider it the worst contract in the NBA.
Yep.
And they got 2 firsts. Like, I don't know. It's not all that great. And the people that are like, oh, well, you don't want to, like, you can't build a team around a guy, like 2 guys making that much money. It's like, all you're doing is paying another guy that money. I know it's a couple years less, but Tatum's going to be 30 by the time Paul George's contract's over. So like, what are we really benefiting from like right now? My assumption is that the Celtics think that this year, maybe Paul George's like, there's things that he does that can help. The problem is he's not on the floor enough. He's going to play. Right. He's going to miss 40 games.
Right. Oh, they're going to load
that's
manage.
Another
thing.
He's
going to get load managed, which that's a whole another conversation that I don't necessarily think we need to get into now. But it's like,
I mean, it may not even take load managing. He may just have a shin, calf. Right. You may be 3 games into the year. He's going to miss play. He's going to miss games. He also missed 25 games last year with a PED suspension.
Right.
So there's that. But my guess is that they're going to play out this season thinking like we're not going to contend for a title, and then next offseason maybe they think like because Paul George's contract is expiring,
Yeah.
they can flip that with some of the picks they got
Right.
in a bigger deal. The issue is you have to find somebody that's willing to pay $58 million for Paul George that has a player that's good enough to turn your franchise around.
Right.
And isn't also trying to win, because no one's going to trade for $58 million Paul George next year unless they're, really tanking it. So I don't know. It's an interesting spot that they put themselves in. I wish I would have gotten, they're going to talk tomorrow. I don't think we're getting anything. I think they're going to say we love and appreciate Jaylen and blah, 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 blah. And we really like Paul, and we really like the picks, and we really like flexibility and all that nonsense. They're not going to say that, Jaylen wasn't a fit. They're not going to say on-off splits. They're going to give us nothing. I would be shocked. And the fact that Chisholm's out there tomorrow also tells me they're not going to say it's about the money. They're not going to send him up there. They're going to send him up there to reiterate we're here to win. We're here to win championships, and spending's not a problem for us. That's why he's out there, because they know how much crap he's going to take. So he is out there to reiterate we're going to spend and that's it. So the reality of the situation is I do believe the Celtics think that they're analytically ahead of everybody else, or most teams. And maybe it's funny that Jaylen Brown's getting crap for being like, oh, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. I think the Celtics are acting like the smartest guy in the room.
Okay.
And I think it's BS.
So you mentioned Chisholm. I hope, and it always is the case here, Stevens is going to get probably the majority of the questions, and Chisholm won't get many, just generally speaking.
I think he'll get the spending questions. Yeah.
I hope he's like, Stevens knows how to work the media.
Mm-hmm.
I would love it. Like Chisholm, we haven't seen it enough. Like I hope he gets more questions than the normal owner gets, because I feel like he's one that's going to say something that maybe he shouldn't. Like I think Stevens knows what to say and is going to play it straight, obviously.
Yeah, I think he'll field some tough ones. Like I think he'll field the general spending and like of Jaylen Brown's contract and what it meant and why they got out from under it. And, are you more concerned with aprons and taxes than you are about, and I think he'll say we're dedicated to winning championships and we want to do it responsibly, something like that. I do think he's going to field private equity questions, because I think that's a hot topic.
Yeah.
Something that honestly, it's not something that I understand enough to be like,
we can skip the private.
This is ruining, but I do think he's going to feel that question, because I do think that's something that people are hot on.
Yeah.
I assume, my assumption is he's going to say it has nothing to do with anything, and I'm in charge and I can decide, and Brad can do what he wants to do. But
so
they're taking heat for this.
No,
they're going to take heat.
So I want to ask you something, and I want to kind of pivot here, because this is, I love controversy. I've loved the Rossini variable story since the jump. I know you have as well, but locker room stuff. This was my favorite season comments, integrating back with Tatum when Tatum came back. What do you think happened? Because they can say analytics, they can say money, they can say whatever, but it sounds like some of this off the script stuff, and I've seen some of the Twitter stuff where he's leaving the weak side defender, and he's as the weak side defender, he's leaving this guy open, guy hits a shot. He's going off script in game 7 on key plays or whatever against Philly. What do you think? How do you think this really played out behind the scenes? Take out analytics, just talk about chemistry.
First of all, starting Garza, Harper, and Shireman in game 7, was that part of the script?
Yeah.
No, so my thought is, I think Jaylen had his favorite season because he was the guy. Everybody thought they would stink, or most people thought they would stink, and he carried them to 56 wins, and he felt really damn good about it. he probably viewed this season the way that I view the Isaiah Thomas season, which was that was kind of my favorite Celtics season. That team shouldn't have been as good as they were.
Mm-hmm.
One guy we never thought would carry them, carried the hell out of them. It was awesome to watch. Now look, Jaylen Brown isn't 5'11" and like the ultimate underdog, so it wasn't
He was the
as
third overall pick in draft.
But he averaged like 20. If you look at Isaiah Thomas and Jaylen Brown's seasons, they're kind of similar. So I think Jaylen genuinely loved being the guy this year. I think he genuinely loved the fact that he was surrounded by a team of kind of misfits, and they all worked together to be as good as they were. And the off script stuff is nitpicky. I think you can cherry pick any highlight of any team.
Mm-hmm.
I will again say in Game 7, you could look at Luka Garza, Ron Harper, and Baylor Shireman in the first 3 minutes of the game and say, what the hell were those three guys doing?
Yeah.
What in God's name was going on there with those three guys who had no business playing in that game and no business having any idea what the hell they were doing on the floor? Yeah. But instead, we're going to look at Jaylen Brown's off-ball defense on play X. And look, he might have stunk on that play. And he might have gone off script on certain plays, but he probably went off script on certain plays because he thought, I have to carry this team because Jason Tatum is sitting out.
Once again.
And there's three guys on the floor with me that I don't trust to score the basketball.
This is deep. This is in the weeds, but do you think they told him not to guard Embiid and he went and was like, I'm guarding Embiid?
I don't know.
Game 7. You remember those? They were obviously
he had blocked
on him, but they were going back and forth a little bit.
I don't know. Wish I knew. That'd be cool to know, but I have no idea. I mean, look, there are probably things.
We'll know. In time, we'll know. We may not know the answer to that question specifically, but we'll know. Look, they're not going to talk crap about him, but it'll be in certain answers. Like Tatum will say something, or somebody will say something where it'll cause a stir. I'm not sure who, but
yeah. I mean, I just when I look back at that series,
there's got to be something that happened though. Something had to have happened where they're like, we're doing this now. They didn't have to make a trade today.
They forced it. They definitely forced it.
Yeah, it fell for something. Yeah. Something was going on behind the scenes, and I don't know what it is. We can keep getting all these various reports. Something happened, Rob. Like, there's no way they trade the guy who was 6th in MVP, who's still 29 years old, in the prime of his career, for a bag of balls.
I think my guess is that it happened after the season.
It gave Luka Doncic trade vibes.
It did. The only difference here is that we knew it was coming. We knew they were looking to shop Jaylen Brown. Like, that was obvious.
Luka,
Or Luka kind of literally came out of nowhere. But the thing with this one is, it felt like, let me ask you this. I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah.
Because it felt like we kind of knew they were looking to trade Jaylen Brown for whatever reason. Maybe at the time we thought money was like the main reason, or like he's not worth his contract, or he doesn't get along with Tatum. Something was there, obviously, because they tried to trade him for Giannis. When they came up short for Giannis because of like very like ancillary things, it was like, oh, well, they didn't include Hugo Gonzalez in an extra pick. Like, dude, if you want Giannis, just go get Giannis. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I figured at that point they were like, well, we're more interested in trading Jaylen Brown than we are getting Giannis. We just thought maybe we'd get Giannis for him.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, they must have like other options where they're going to get hauls. And I feel like if maybe they ruined their leverage in chasing Giannis. Like, a lot of these, like the Desmond Bane trade, kind of came out of nowhere. The Mikal Bridges trade kind of came out of nowhere. And I wonder if chasing Giannis and making it very apparent that we don't want Jaylen Brown ruined their leverage. And then, like, on top of that, people were like, wait a minute, why do the Celtics seem so intent on getting rid of this guy? And that's when they started to dive into like, oh, well, there's these X, Y, and Z. It might be a reason. I mean, maybe this guy's not as good. And Steven's just so smart. And like, why would he want to get rid of Jaylen Brown? and then here comes a brand new Mike Gansey. Hasn't been like a full on the personnel
Right.
guy, and he's in Philly going, I'll take Jaylen Brown.
Right.
And reportedly the Celtics were like, fine, we want Paul George, VJ Edgecombe, and 4 firsts. And the Sixers said no, but they never left. And somehow, some way, they got VJ Edgecombe out of the deal, which to me is like, again, shocking. When I found out someone had announced it, because I wasn't by my phone or my computer at the time, I was standing up, walking around, and someone yelled, Jaylen Brown's going to the Sixers. And in my head, I thought, like, holy crap, he's going to the Sixers. Oh my God, who are the Sixers giving up? And when I saw Paul George was the only player involved, and there were only 2 first-round picks involved, I was like, the same as everybody else, which is, what the hell are the Celtics doing?
Yep.
And since then, the same people that were saying, what the hell are the Celtics doing, are now justifying it. And I understand that some people have to start justifying it to themselves, because you live your whole life just bumming around. But at the same time, like, some of this stuff is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot. I feel like there's also part of me, again, conspiracy theorist, that's like, if Jaylen wanted to be a number 1 and they were upset, like, not upset with him, go play in Philly. He'll go put up 18 points a game.
What are your thoughts on them sending him to the Sixers?
Well,
of all teams?
I was trying to ask you how you don't see these type of trades often. I mean, not for star players in their prime, like the KG Pierce thing. Those guys on the back end of their career. I always think of like the Drew Bledsoe going to the Bills. Things like that. And I know that there's plenty of examples of it, but it's very strange to me to be trading him to. I mean, who are your biggest rivals in the East? Your biggest rivals are at least division rivals are Philly and Knicks right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the Raptors and Nets.
Yeah, it's the Sixers and Knicks. It's the
Sixers Knicks. And it's just, you just gave them. You just, here you go, Philly. Just take them.
Yeah.
Take care of them. Like, treat them well. Like, it makes no sense that they'd trade him to 95% of these type of trades are going to the other conference.
Yeah.
You see it across all sports.
And if you do it in conference, it's usually because you got a haul.
Right.
But they didn't get a haul.
Yeah. No.
It's just so weird about it.
Right.
Like, part of me is like, well, if Jaylen Brown, for some reason, it just doesn't work out in Philly, it's still worth the haul that they get. It's still worth Paul George and 2 firsts. Like, that's what's crazy about it. I genuinely wonder if the Celtics are thinking he won't work there. And that's like part of the reason they did it, is like,
the Patriots traded Bledsoe to the Bills.
It's not like he's like signing there because he wants to be there. So I don't know, but I know everybody likes Maxey and people seem to like Edgecombe. Maybe they're like, I don't know if he'll play with him. He'll be okay with playing with Embiid. I don't know. But it's such a risk. It's such a risk to just throw him there. And that's part of the reason maybe I'm a little wary, is like, I don't think the Sixers and Celtics have ever had a deal where it works out for the Sixers. So like that could be part of it, but it's he's gonna have the ultimate chip on his shoulder. And I can't imagine they're not playing opening night. The NBA would be out of their mind if they didn't schedule Celtics Sixers opening night. Yeah.
Although the problem is the Knicks have to play.
Well, I'm not saying like the first. I'm saying the first Celtics and Sixers game. The Knicks can play. I don't care who the Knicks play. The Knicks will probably play the Pacers or something. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But the Celtics and the Sixers have to play the first night of the season, and they have to play Christmas Day. Honestly, you got to put these 2 teams up against each other as many times as you can on prime time. Not on prime time, on like big network national
whatever
TV.
channel games are on.
Have to do it. Yeah, whatever. They're all in prime time. I just don't know what the hell channel they're going to be on.
All right. Do you think, my next question for you, do you think the Celtics are currently constructed as what they're going to look like on opening night, or do you think there are more trades that might happen this offseason?
I actually think they're more
using the picks and George or whatever to do something now.
I don't think they're trading the picks in George now. I think that's coming next season.
Okay.
I don't think they're doing it now. One next season's free agent class is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So maybe you get a sign and
Who's in it?
trade. It's loaded. I mean, a lot of older guys too, but like it's like Curry, Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi Leonard. It's a pretty like loaded class, and obviously that's free agent, so you'd have to like sign and trade. But like,
Sure.
you can get pretty creative with his. So it's Curry, Anthony Davis, Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Jokic, Karl Anthony Towns, Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Like not that they would be interested in like 4 or 5 of those guys, but like you know what I mean. You got a lot of guys that are currently making $50 million or more. They're going to hit the free agents market, and any of those guys can become sign and trades.
So you think they're done making moves this offseason? You think Mike Conley, Mitchell Robinson?
I would say the chance of we'll get into those 2 guys in a second.
Yeah,
I think there's a chance maybe they try to move some picks. I think Paul George is here to stay. I don't think anybody wants Paul George's $58 million for the next 2 years. It's just not. Celtics took that, I think, with the long run in mind. I'm kind of not buying the Trey Murphy stuff. I think the Pelicans are going to hold on to him. And
by the way, another guy. Where's he on the Pelicans list? Or not the Trailblazers list of?
He is. I'm telling you.
So, quick sidebar here.
Yeah.
If Trey Murphy's 25 or 26, and he's really good, apparently, why are the Pelicans trading him?
You know who Trey Murphy is to me?
Stink. Like, oh my God, we have this really good player. Let's get rid of him. Like, what?
Trey Murphy to me is Alec Pierce.
And he could be good. I don't think he's a bad player, but it's like, if you think he's good, why let's get a guy who might be a cornerstone player. You know what? Let's trade him.
This feels like NFL free agency Alec Pierce again to me.
Yeah.
We must make sure that this guy makes $30 million a year.
Yeah.
Like we have to trade multiple picks for Trey Murphy,
right?
Who
but like see his yards per catch
when the Pelicans are on. He's like the 3rd guy I'm watching.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. My guess is there's some moves on the margins to make, but I think they're mostly done. And it's interesting. I've seen some people trying to sell themselves on they're going to be better than last year.
Oh, I've seen those side by side comparisons of the rosters, and I'm like, I mean, they'll be good because they are kind of like they were last year. You know what I mean? Like they're still
they'll be good. They're not going to be
good
great.
Because there's so many bad teams. Like they could.
Yeah, the East is much better though. The East is much better. You're not going to have as much tanking.
They're going to roll out of bed and win 40 games.
Oh yeah. I'm not worried about that.
I mean, again, assuming Tatum's healthy, but. What's your lineup now? Do you like?
So it's Kata.
You see Kata starting.
Yeah, I still think Kata starts.
Extension.
Mitchell Robinson's never played more than 23 minutes in a game in his life. He's just not a starting center.
They had to play the 3rd string center in the finals because he got gassed after like 5 minutes. Like
he's an offensive liability. He's not a starting center. I think Kata's a starter. They also paid Kata like a starter. I know that Mitchell Robinson's making decent money too. Yeah, they're close.
Like $1 million off.
But I think I
don't want to get into Mitchell Robinson a ton, but I kind of was blown away by that signing too. That signing stinks.
It's fine. I think
again
stinks.
Like he's not a $15 million player. Like he's just not.
Yeah, I don't think he's very good. I think here's the thing that
it's like an offensive rebound in the NBA Finals. It was like, oh my God, he's like the greatest offensive rebounder we've ever seen.
Here's my take in getting rid of Jaylen Brown and adding Mitchell Robinson. I think the Celtics are going to lean even more into 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Because they signed Mitchell Robinson to be like, we need you to get offensive rebounds.
Yeah. We miss a lot of threes.
Yeah, we're gonna keep jacking him and we need offensive rebounds. So that's my theory. I don't know. Here's the thing. Peyton Pritchard is going to have to start. Like he's been so good coming off it's like it's going to the point now.
Jalen Brunson, haven't you heard?
Great. Yeah. You have to start.
Tell me that.
Let's see what happens when your usage rate is all the way up. But he has to start.
He also stinks in the playoffs every year.
Derek White can't start. at point guard. He could start at shooting guard. He cannot start at point guard. He's not a natural point guard.
No,
Tatum can't handle the ball the whole game.
it's
It'll
going
be
to be
Tatum and George, Pritchard and White,
and Kata.
and Kata.
And then your top bench guys are
Is Mitchell Robinson,
Hauser,
Shireman, Gonzalez.
That's
Yeah,
9.
and that's if Hauser's on the team. Hauser's a guy I can see them trading. I also think it's funny that all I heard all offseason was, the Celtics are interested in bringing Anthony Simons back, and the Sixers get him for $6 million a year
for nothing. Yeah,
for the freaking MLE, which is just
Ron Harper Jr. is going to play a lot next year. He's definitely going to play a lot.
I guess.
Look, the Game 7 nonsense aside, he's a guy like that's why they have to trade Hauser, because I'm not telling you these guys are Jaylen Brown. I'm just looking at who is on the roster right now. You need to play Ugo, who's 20, Harper, who's 26, Shireman, 25, Jordan Walsh, 22. Those guys have to play. Again, they're all going to go in and out of the rotation, and maybe they play more if Paul George gets hurt.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't be playing Hauser over those guys. Those guys have to play, for better or worse. Like, I'd rather watch Baylor Shireman play 30 minutes a night and make plays than watch Sam Hauser stand in the corner. On a couple nights, he'll go off and hit some threes, and then other nights he misses and he doesn't do anything else.
I think Hauser might get moved. I think he's probably the last guy to get moved. And maybe
he's just going to get traded for second-round picks.
He might, yeah. In which case, people will just talk about money again. But I also don't. I don't love Hauser. So yeah, we'll see.
No, he makes $10 million. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's tradable. It's movable.
No, it's of course it's tradable. I'm just saying for a guy who's doing nothing.
Yeah, just jacking threes.
Jacking threes. So yeah, that's your. Let's say they trade Hauser. Your bench is Ugo, Ron Harper Jr., Mitchell Robinson, Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh, Luka Garza.
It's not a bad bench. You're just I don't love.
Right, and then you have
you'd be so much better with Jaylen Brown in the starting lineup than Paul George.
Right, and then you have the wise vet Mike Conley.
He's not. He's there for moral support. He's apparently the nicest guy on the planet, and I think that's valuable at some point. But he played 18 minutes a game and shot like 30% from the field last year. He's not. He doesn't have NBA playing. He's Kyle Lowry basically, but he's in shape. That's
who's the if you have White and Pritchard starting,
mm-hmm.
Who's your ball handler when they go to the bench? Or do you think between the two of them and Tatum, there's always one of them?
Oh, man, that's a good question.
Like, they don't have a backup guard.
Is it Conley? Is Conley going to play the backup point guard minutes? He might. It's risky because, again, he's so old. But you seem to be leaning into that. I don't know. It's a good question. It could be Conley.
And look, you could, again, for spurts, could Baylor Shireman do it? Of course. Could Ron Harper Jr. do it? Can they do it against backups? Sure.
Yeah. Look, you're in the same position last year. It's not like they lost a guard. It was White. Well, you had Jaylen doing it.
Right.
A lot of the time. And Paul George is not going to,
Right. You had Simon for at least half the year.
Yeah. I don't know.
Can we pour one out for Nick Vucevic and his 1 year, $3 million contract that he got with Orlando? That was the best move the Celtics made in Game 7. Benching him, yeah. That was
trading for him did not work out.
Although analytics would probably tell you he's a top 50 player.
I'm sure he's great. Yeah, I'm sure he's fantastic. Yeah, there's you can do on-off splits for anybody. Like I saw a stat the other day. It was like Paul George's numbers. He's like a 27.6 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yeah,
with like Maxey and Embiid off the floor.
Yeah.
Per like 36 minutes, whatever.
Well,
do you know how often that happened? Like 4 minutes all season. Like Maxey averaged like 42 minutes a game for like the whole season. Paul George played in like 38 games. Like how often was Paul George on the floor without Maxey or Embiid? It was like never.
So for our Philly friends that are listening and watching, what do you think the rotation is? What's the starting lineup in Philly now, and how does Jaylen get the ball in his hands like he did last year?
So it's Maxey, Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, Dean Wade, and Joel Embiid.
Okay.
And last year, Paul George averaged 14 field goal attempts per game.
Yep.
So my assumption is Jaylen Brown will be closer to 17. So Maxey, Embiid, Edgecombe each give up 1. And there's Jaylen Brown's 3 extra shots per game. I don't think it'll be crazy. I think it's a matter of like where is he on the floor and where is he spaced and how do they use him. I think he's kind of going to have the same shots Paul George got, but I think he's just better at, Paul George can't blow by anybody anymore. He just can't.
No.
So when he ISOs, he just gets stuck and takes a 20-foot jump shot. Whereas I think Jaylen will be able to at least do a little bit more with the ball. I think he'll get a lot of the Embiid off the floor time because they're going to need someone that can create on their own. So he'll get shots more naturally that way. And then, with all 5 of them, I think he kind of plays off ball a little bit and he cuts a lot, which in that offense is good because Embiid posts up a lot. And you saw a lot of that Kelly Oubre back cut stuff. And Jaylen Brown will kind of play like a mix of what Paul George did and what Kelly Oubre did. In a perfect world, we'll see how it works. It'll take some time, and then the bench is Anthony Simons and Dominic Barlow, and they have a Dembona and Ariel Hockporty, whichever slob center they want to throw out there.
Big rolls off the bench.
Yeah, but it'll be and then their first round pick LeBaron Phelan, who I kind of like. I think he'll probably be their backup point guard, but. You got him and Simons, and they still have. I think they still have like 2 or 3 roster spots open, and they'll have to make a move. I know they're in on the LeBron thing. We'll just see where that goes. I think he's going back to Cleveland, but I'm not really. That's not my concern at this moment.
If LeBron goes to Philly, Jaylen Brown shots go down to 13 a game now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where they go. I think he's going to Cleveland, although part of me thinks he really doesn't want to play with James Harden.
Does anybody want to play James Harden?
It's funny that whole like Rich Paul video where he's like explaining like the like places LeBron can go and why. Yeah. He really sold the Sixers. I don't know if he's just trying to get like the Sixers to like trade somebody and pay more, but they don't have the money. He'd have to take the minimum there. But it's funny is like the Cavs. He's like, oh yeah, really, he would go back to Cleveland in a heartbeat, but like he really misses Darius Garland.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, A, how long has Darius Garland not been a Cav? And B, is that just a roundabout way of saying he hates James Harden?
Yeah.
Who like just took Darius Garland's spot? Like, that was weird to me. But I still think LeBron will be back in Cleveland. I don't know. That's just until it happens, just let me know when it happens. I can't do LeBron. Where's LeBron going to land talk every day? It's spinning my head in circles.
Who do you think on the Celtics steps up the most? Like out of all these other guys that they have, that all these analytics darlings, I'm sure, are just raving about. Like, is it Ugo?
I don't know. I'm not ready to say it. I mean, look, he's going to improve. Like he didn't play in the playoffs last year, so like he's going to improve. He's going to play more. My guess is they're gonna like Pritchard, like 23 a game. It would be the big step up. Like Peyton Pritchard, becoming that like I'm gonna take like maybe he takes like 19 shots a game, and he's like basically scoring the way Derek White did when he was hot.
Well, he doesn't turn the ball over. Like, one of Jaylen's flaws, I don't think there were many. I'm no analytics guy.
Yeah.
Was he just turned the ball over a lot. He obviously dribbled the running joke because he would dribble the ball off his knee out of bounds a couple times a game. Pritchard doesn't turn the ball over a ton. So there should be less live ball turnovers with the ball in his hands more.
Mm-hmm.
The part that I'm going to be curious to see, we talked about earlier who's going to have the ball in their hands when they're on the bench. My gut, this is what my gut is saying. Tatum will play the whole first quarter. Pritchard will go to the bench 7 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I
And then
guess.
he'll
be
take
Conley?
the first. No, well, it's not going to matter who it is because Tatum's going to be back on the floor. Or Tatum's still going to be on the floor.
Yeah.
So it'll be Tatum holding the ball with other guys obviously involved.
Yeah.
But then Pritchard comes back early second when Tatum's on the bench, and he, is allowed to cook offensively.
Yeah.
I can't. I have a hard time believing. Out of the analytics talk has been crazy. One of the craziest things I saw was the whole is Peyton Pritchard the next Jaylen Brunson.
Yeah.
And that's so disrespectful to Jaylen Brunson.
It's absurd.
And it's just one of those things where I understand where you're going with it, but I don't think that's how you phrase it. I think the phrasing is, I know that's the headline, and that's why I'm talking about it now. I get what their job is to do.
Yeah.
But it's just so absurd. It just is. Peyton Pritchard's a nice player. He's got, like you said, his numbers are going to go up because there's just more shots. There's more availability now than there was last year or the year before. I also think with that comes more attention. He's going to see more double teams. He's going to see better defenders. He's going to see there's variables that are going to come into play. And I think it's completely disrespectful to Jaylen Brunson for what he's done and what Pritchard hasn't done. Pritchard's known in the playoffs for hitting buzzer beaters. That's it.
Yeah.
3-point shots. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around what they think he's going to evolve into as far as being able to be a guy that's Brunson level. Like that seems way out of character.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree. I don't know. I'm very much questioning with the Celtics moves and their reasoning for them. And this all just comes back to they traded one of their best players for very little to one of their biggest rivals out of nowhere. And the justification is how he wasn't all that good. It's
right.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I know. It's definitely one of those. It's one of those moments where you look back and you're like, "Oh my god!" It's just. I remember when the Celtics traded for Kyrie, just the wow factor. It's just one of those wow moments, and it's you don't get many of them. You don't get many of them, and that's one of the biggest ones over the last 5 years or whatever. I mean, it's huge. It stops you in your tracks, the story you were describing earlier, holy crap, they traded Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
It blows your mind when you hear it, when you read it, the first reaction is, oh my God.
So let me ask you this, because you've been here for a long time, your whole life, basically.
Yeah.
Dan Shaughnessy called this one of the worst trades in Boston history. Michael Holley said he compares it to the Mookie Betts trade, intersecting with the Malcolm Butler benching, where it's a bad trade and you're also what the hell, why? And are we ever going to find the answer? Some people have said, no, it's not the Mookie Betts trade, it's the Nomar trade. So let me ask you this. Do you think this is one of the worst trades in Boston history, and can you compare it with anything else?
Well, the irony is that you could argue that the Red Sox got a similar-ish or probably worse type package for Nomar and then ended up winning the World Series that year. So it's hard to call the Nomar trade the worst trade because they literally won the World Series 3 months later.
Well, yeah, I think that's what people are saying is no, it's not the worst trade. It's the Nomar trade. It's, it's addition by subtraction.
To me, it reminds me of the, honestly, kind of reminds me of the Devers trade a little bit. It's one of those, you have a guy that's been there a while, maybe a little more disgruntled than we think. I don't think anybody thought Rafael Devers was disgruntled until they told him to put on a first base glove. And I know it's not apples to apples in this sport, but it's I don't know if they went to Jaylen and look, great season. Jason's going to be back next year. He's our guy. He's our number one. And obviously they phrase it differently, but maybe that's how he heard it. And maybe they don't and again, Devers wasn't doing this, but maybe they didn't like that he's going on Twitch every night and sharing his thoughts and being an open book and, We have media sessions for a reason. You don't need to go out there and scream your whole thoughts to everybody.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's more behind the scenes, and then the Red Sox, like the Celtics here, were just like, you know what, we got to dump the salary. And I know it's not a straight salary dump because they had to take George back, but in a year and a half, it'll be off the books, so to speak. And I don't know. It reminds me of the Devers and the Betts trades more than Nomar.
100%. So I actually really like the Devers one. I didn't think of that. And here's the other reason why I think it could be like the Devers trade. Is Devers obviously has been, it's gone very poorly in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Red Sox fans are justifying the Devers trade by saying, well, look how wrong it's gone in San Francisco. I could see this happening where maybe Jaylen Brown, it doesn't work in Philly.
Yeah.
And Celtics fans justify it by being like, well, see? But you're only looking at half of it, and you're not looking at, well, why wasn't the return better?
Right.
It's like Red Sox can look at Devers all you want and say, like, see, he's a cancer and he's a problem in San Francisco and he's bad and they're already trying to get rid of him. Like, we did cut bait with the guy for the right reason. Yeah, but your return you got sucked. Right. So, like, I could see this happening where the Celtics return doesn't work out for them, but Jaylen Brown doesn't work out for the Sixers, and that becomes a justification. So I do agree with you there. The reason I don't agree with the Nomar thing is, what did the Red Sox win with Nomar? Nothing. They won nothing with Nomar. The reason they traded him was because they weren't winning anything without Nomar. I know,
but it's really
Jaylen Brown they won a championship with Jaylen Brown, and he was the Finals MVP. Like, I
arguably should have been Tatum, but the
Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
The thing why I can't. Well, I'll go back to Nomar, but the way I think it's mostly like Devers. Then I think it's kind of like the Betts trade in the sense that they traded for Verdugo, who's like the Paul George. I know they're different ages, but like you got a player that you think is still going to help you, and then get a couple in baseball. They got the prospects, Connor Wong and Jeter Downs, whatever. And then in this
that works.
So the return is kind of similar in that regard. With regards to Nomar, Nomar definitely the thing that he was a peculiar guy that had, I wouldn't say an attitude problem, but he didn't really like being the center of attention, and he couldn't handle that in Boston. I mean, he was a stud player, and it's also just baseball's not a sport like basketball where the star player is always what does Mike Trout want? You know what I mean? Like that, it's just hard in baseball to be the face of a team and have that guarantee.
I think the difference is that Nomar was like the kind of the face, one of the faces, not the face, but he was one of the faces of that team. And the reason they traded him was because they were like, well, we need it. Like, we clearly need a change if we're going to win something, like a clubhouse change.
Yeah.
And the Celtics might be thinking that too, but they were already successful. Like, they already won a title with Jaylen Brown. Like, Jaylen Brown proved you can have me on the team and win a title, like, very clearly, because they did.
I mean, Nomar made a couple ALCSs. I mean, they they made the ALCS in '99. They made the ALCS in 2003.
Yeah.
He if the Brown stuff comes out that it was more of an attitude and the whole smartest guy in the room, or they didn't like the Twitch thing, or the things like that, then I could see it.
But they better. If I'm Brad Stevens, honestly, I'm coming out on Monday, and he's not going to do this because he's just not that guy.
No.
But I would come out and be like, him and Tatum do not like each other.
Yeah, it's not happening.
And they weren't getting along. Jaylen wants to be the guy. He can't be the guy here. He's making too much money to not be the guy here, so we moved him. He's not going to say that. And the justification of he's not that good is going to continue. And it's going to annoy me because there's going to be fans who like Jaylen Brown, who didn't want him traded, who are going to use that as fuel for their own arguments. And it's going to be like, what are you doing? Like, how do you suddenly now think Jaylen Brown wasn't that good?
No, I think that the next domino is going to be how they handle the presser on Monday. But then, here's the issue is that as exciting as this is, we're not going to see anything for 3 months. So, that we got a long way to go till opening night in the NBA. And fortunately, the NBA offseason is wonderful and it's great. I mean, did I really read that Walker Kessler got like 40 million from the Lakers? Like that really happened?
Yep.
You see some weird stuff when you're on vacation, and you see some NBA news, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that real? Did that team really just trade for that guy?
I know.
Some of those moves are crazy. Yeah. But we're gonna sit on it now, and we're gonna wait. I mean, there shouldn't be too many more blockbuster moves relating to the Celtics.
No, it's crazy. It's amazing that here we are on July 5th.
Yeah,
and we're getting this gigantic of a story. It's crazy to me. I was thinking to myself earlier, we are 2 months away from starting season 2.
Yeah,
of this podcast. Yeah, season 1 is because our season starts the week before the NFL season begins. Is when our season.
We're getting there.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're gonna have thinking ahead. Like training camp is in 3 weeks. 3 weeks is training camp.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna be previewing the NFL season before we know it.
Dude,
and then we're gonna be a month into the NFL season and we're gonna have Sixers Celtics game.
Dude, we're gonna get quarterback shell stats soon. Drake May was 17 of 22 on 7-on-7 drills. He had a pass broken up by some undrafted rookie who won't make the team.
I still think the two of us need to be at Eagles Patriots joint practices.
I can't do that. I have a job.
I can't be that. Oh, I have things to do. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No, but this was great. I gotta be honest. It's getting late for me. It's been a long week of vacation. Yep. A lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, and it's time to wrap this.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am on vacation next week, so we will reconvene after that. But I hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you the next time on Run the Damn podcast.